Right, guys. Welcome to an Arsenal versus Slavia Prague match review. Arsenal does the business yet again, coasting to a 3-0 win at the end, wasn't it?
And another clean sheet again.
Another
Exactly,
clean sheet. I
another
don't think they
clean
shot
sheet
face
again.
on
I mean,
target.
I mean, if the penalty was given towards the end of the second half, it could be all different with the clean sheets and all that. But luckily, VAR saw sense and thought, yeah, his boot was high, but the Slavia Prague boy kicked Ben White rather than Ben White kicking him.
It's the 50-50 in it as well.
To be
To be
honest,
honest, it's everything.
yeah. I
But
generally think if it's a case of Ben White's coming up and he's kicking up in the players, he's caught the player. It's a pen
yeah,
because he's the one that's initiated contact. But it's a fact the Ben White's leg's there, but it's higher than the Slavia Prague player. So I'll take 3-0. Either way, to be honest.
I was quite surprised at the starting lineup again. But I think you showed. Well, when I mean surprised is I thought you'd actually bench more people, but more in the midfield more than anything else, and leave them to come on later. But
Yeah.
he obviously done the other way around. He wanted to get out ahead and then make his subs.
Well, I was surprised that he played Rice, to be honest, because Rice gets a yellow. He's suspended for Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Um, so and I mean, you can't go and play a game against Bayern Munich and not have your starting midfield. You
No.
can't. Obviously Zubimendi was suspended for this one, but it sounds bad because Slavia Prague aren't normally a team that you can slap about and bully a bit. They're normally got a bit of bite about them and a bit of fight. But didn't miss Zubimendi today, and I don't know if that was a case of how good we were, if it was just Slavia Prague just were a bit overwhelmed.
It's what we were on about the last 2 weeks, two times we've done these videos, I think, against Atletico and then also the Brighton game. It's you getting to the point
Mhm.
now where you're comfortable enough in I think Martin Keown said, I think it was the only thing that I actually listened to and thought he actually knows what he's on about, is he's talking about the depth and he was like, at the end of the day, it doesn't look like they're making massive drop offs. Now don't get me wrong, when you're playing Bayern Munich, I think you got Inter Milan still, you're not going to chance that you're
Yeah,
going to have because you know what Mikel Arteta's like. He'll have his full team on, and that's understandable. But I
yeah,
mean, if you win against Bayern, and then I think you've got Club Brugge after that, the Inter Milan game is
I think so.
circumstantial. Really, it's after that point you've already
This
qualified.
I was going to say, well, we've already qualified. This is how you either look at it and you look how big headed I'm being, or you look at it and go, look at Liverpool last year. They won the same amount of games we have won up until now,
Yeah,
and we've still got what four games to go. As you say, Bayern Munich, Club Brugge, and Inter Milan, they're all winnable. Are they easily? No, but they are winnable. I don't see us dropping out of the top eight. If we do, something massively has went wrong. But
also as well, it's not
after a
really in your
performance like
interest to
that,
finish top of the table, though, is it? Like I think Liverpool's shown that. I think it doesn't really matter where you finish in that top eight
yeah.
as long as you finish up there. Especially
Well,
at the moment, everyone
did
else is doing
PSG
somewhat
not?
well.
Did PSG not finish in the playoffs last year?
Yeah, so that was the problem, wasn't it? It was PSG and Real Madrid both finished in the playoffs. So it was one of
Yeah,
those where like it didn't really help you out not really finishing in the top eight. But this year, everyone, well, at least obviously we're not in it, but I'm almost sure every one of the main hitters is in the top eight. So it doesn't really matter.
yeah.
You're doing well
No,
enough to square these victories away. I mean, the goals are taken brilliantly. I have to give
yeah,
Merino. It's far too easy. I will just say that Merino goal, one cross into the box, and he's got 5 yards of space, but it's just too
yeah.
easy. Um,
That assist is Brighton Trossard. That honestly, that ball was pinpoint perfect
you're also not
to
going to get that
find
space in the Prem,
Merino.
though.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But we're not playing in the Premier League right now.
No, exactly.
We're
No,
playing
no,
in
that's
Slavia
fine.
Prague.
Yeah.
Um, He's very well taken by Merino, who isn't a striker.
No.
He's playing more of a striker than what we've had for the past couple of years, and up until a couple of games ago with Gyökeres. But anyway, the penalty that Arsenal were awarded did not come from the referee. Not a chance. You
I
can't
don't
see
think
that
that's a pen.
through that body. No,
No, I could be completely wrong, but it looked like it is head first onto his arm. his arm's in an unnatural position, and I'll fully admit that. But the only reason I'll bring it back to a couple of weeks ago, Gabriel literally slid in, it hit off his shin, and it hit his arm that was like up here, and it was like, oh, second contact, no
Yeah,
pen, and I know UEFA, the Champions League has a bit of a different rule on it, and I know that, and that's fine. Just for
yeah.
me, it's not a pen. I mean, what is he doing with his arm up here anyway? But like,
I think from the angle that VAR used, funny enough, it's always their fucking angles that make it look favourable for them.
yeah,
Is it does look like it hits the hand off the bat. It doesn't look like it takes a deflection and then hits the arm. It
oh,
generally
I
just
thought
looks like
his
it hits
head.
the
Right,
arm.
okay. Oh, if it hits his hand first, then that's
Um,
fine. I don't have a problem with that. I thought it hit his head and then hit his arm.
but that's what I'm saying. Like from VAR's angle, it makes it look like it just hits
Yeah,
the hand because the hand's head height it is nigh on. If it's going to hit your hand, it's probably going to hit your head at the same time. Like
yeah,
it's one of those, and I think because as I say, I don't think the referee called it, and then VAR when I might want to take a look at this
yeah.
because there was like 2 minutes where they're setting up the corner, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, this is as good as a penalty,
Uh,
and then we got a penalty anyway.
uh,
Um, but no, and then I think we kind of discussed about it before we even jumped on the Slavia Prague goalkeeper didn't have enough to do today. The one thing he did have to do, and he fucked up.
just let's be just put a shit. Just unbelievably shit. He's gonna catch a ball when Merino's head's in the way of it. I don't know what he's doing.
I, he just generally forgot he can use his hands. He
And
generally has because he's
I
nowhere
blame it
near
on
it.
I blame it on Merino's in the way, but the ball literally balloons up and then comes down, and he's literally, I don't know. It's such an odd, and I don't think he realised. Martin Keown was saying he's made to look like a bit of a mug there. But you watch the team kick it
Mhm.
back up to the halfway line, and then BT Sports showing him it, and he's doing that to himself, and you're like, I think he's trying to question why he went for a catch there because it makes fucking no
Yeah,
sense. Yeah, just odd.
he's absolutely livid at himself. I know he's a young keeper, and he'll have to learn for that. But
Yeah,
you can't make those mistakes. One against this Arsenal side, and two in the Champions League.
yeah, of course not.
Because
No, no.
if you do make those types of mistakes, who knows? That could be what costs you from getting a playoff position to not even going through. Um, but no, going into the Arsenal performance, I think it was very commanding. I don't think there was anybody that you could kind of look at and go, you were poor or you put a foot wrong. I think the only time somebody put a foot wrong, I think it was Raya. He gave the ball away very easily and then he got it back straight away. But again, luckily he got away with that because, as I said 2 seconds ago, you make that mistake
Yeah, I think in the
and
last,
it costs
I'm
you.
going to keep on saying this probably until, as I've already said, I don't think Arsenal will do anything special this year, but only because they might prove me. I tell you what, timestamp it at the end of February. If you're still first, you'll probably win the league. But the festive period, you boys, your arse usually falls out your trousers, and what will
Yes.
be interesting is Sunderland away is quite a big game, but then you go into Spurs, Chelsea, Bayern, and then someone else after that. And that is a week and a half of just fucking hell.
Just give me shivers those games. Fills me with excitement getting set pieces every week.
That's what I mean.
Like, it's
No, but
getting
that's what it
exciting.
should do as well. If you're going to be a league winning team or you're
Yeah.
going to win a major, you need to be confident enough to puff out your chest and say you're going to win these games. PSG don't walk into these
Yeah.
games and are scared of them. So it's a sign. As I said, I said this last year. I thought at times you were a very professional team. I genuinely think some of the time when you do drop points, it's because Arteta doesn't show enough bravery, and maybe that's changing now. So
I I I
I
think
can't
another thing
criticise the
that
performance because it was very
yeah.
professional.
I think what we've got this year compared to previous years, and I know we got to a Champions League semi final last season, is the fact that we have players to come in and do the job. Like
Yeah,
Zubimendi couldn't play, was suspended. Christian Nordgaard, Premier League proven, and he isn't one of those players that you can go, yeah, you only got him because of whatever. We got him for experience and game and coming on to win games really, and he
clever
didn't have
player.
an awful lot to do. But he was his passing was good. I feel like his temperament with his passing was. I think he had one on an overlap and he thought, I can either play you in, but you've not got anybody to cross it to, so you're just running
Yeah.
up a blind alley, or I play it to Saka. Saka holds it up, and we actually transition up the field. I think he's good at that. I think
He's a Xhaka
Kapi,
replacement, isn't he? He's a younger. He's a younger Xhaka replacement, basically. That Norgard. That was the thinking,
he
I
is
think.
he's a Xhaka replacement, but better Zinchenko, because that's what we wanted Zinchenko to do. But
Yeah.
Zinchenko, I don't know. He was able to do it like the City. He just wasn't really
No.
doing that at the Arsenal. But I'm not even really going on about the midfield. It's the defensive side where, yeah, we had Timber, Saliba, and Gabriel, which I was a bit not upset, but I wanted to put Mascara in there. I wanted Ben White, Mascara, Hincapié, and Lewis Skelly. I wanted the whole back four to be changed
Yeah.
because they're all good enough to be playing in a game. And as I said, it's not a slight against Slavia Prague because they're normally
No.
they're in the Champions League every year, and they do
Yeah.
cause teams problems. But I generally think you put those players on, especially Lewis Skelly, get their confidence up, and then it's going to happen. Carl Fiore is going to get injured.
Well, it gave you
So, uh,
what you're saying. It gave you a nice opportunity to try play a team that you know isn't going to be an easy game. Because when you go into this festive period, you'll be
yeah,
having a game every 3 days, and it'll be against a Premier League game, a Premier League opposition where they won't half-arse it.
yep,
They won't. Well, most of them won't sit in a low block, and it would be quite good to see, I guess, from an Arsenal fan's perspective, if you could have almost two back fours, and you could have a Champions
yeah,
League back four against the Slavia Pragues of this world, and then
yeah,
like a back four against like the main back four. It's the sort of
yeah,
because I think you have that in midfield right now. I wouldn't say Declan Rice. You could switch out Merino, and you're not losing massive amounts. Norgard could go into Zubimendi. All right, you're probably losing a bit of passing. Eze instead of Erdegaard. You know, that sort of you have a lot of versatility.
yeah. I I think the team that got put out was strong enough. Obviously, yes, we've got injuries, which I'll touch on in a minute. But that team was good enough to win 3-0,
Yeah,
the exact scoreline it was. But I would have liked to seen a few other changes, especially Rice. Why are you going to try and play him when he's on a yellow card suspension if he gets a yellow card? Like, I don't know if it's a case of he didn't trust putting Ez in there or what, or if it's because Gyökeres is injured, he had to put Merino up there. And if
yeah,
Gyökeres wasn't injured, it'd probably have been Merino in that situation. Um, but touching on the Gyökeres situation, it doesn't look very good. And I know what you and Ben say where Arteta and his injuries, but he
it's
doesn't normally come out and say it doesn't look good. Normally when he says it doesn't look good, it's a Havertz injury and he's out for 4 months.
we'll
So
see.
hopefully Gyökeres isn't out for that much. I mean, hopefully he's back for Sunderland, but I doubt it because apparently it's a muscle injury.
Mm.
Um,
I don't. It's
apparently,
like Trossard went down. Trossard went down, but he's not injured. I mean, Gabriel went down. I think the first 3 games of your Champions League, and he played the 90 minutes coming
yeah.
the following weekend. So it's not just me saying that. By the way, the stats bore that out. Arteta usually over dramatises how bad an injury is straight after a game.
Yes, but not. But good example of Gabriel. Gabriel went down. He'd managed to play the majority of the game, then got taken off in like the 67th minute or 70th minute or something, and then played then both Zubimendi and Gyökeres both came off like half time. They
Yeah,
both got taken off.
yeah,
Well, I
no,
think
yeah.
Zubimendi was taken off into the second half, but it was very, very early stages. But I mean, apparently Noni Madueke is close to coming back. Havertz is apparently doing well, but we're not rushing him. And Jesus, apparently, from the videos that you see,
There's no
looked
reason
pretty
to rush
sharp.
anyone at the
But
moment.
then,
You need to be waiting till. I mean, you got 2 weeks international break straight after the Sunderland game. You have pretty much 4 weeks till you go into the festive period, the busy festive period. Why rush
yeah.
it?
Oh
Take
no,
your
no,
time.
absolutely. I don't agree. I don't think we should rush it. But I think the rate of the injuries that we're having now could cause more headaches because if you look at it, Jesus, Havertz, and Gyökeres, those are our three strikers. We've got that young boy that came on today and he played in the Carabao Cup, that Enus boy, who does look good, but he's still wet behind the ears a
Yeah,
bit.
you're not going to use him straight
Um,
away.
exactly. Jesus injured. Gyökeres injured, Havertz injured. Who are we going to put there now? It's going to have if none of them are fit for Saturday, which it doesn't look like they will be. It's going to be Merino up front.
Yeah, working at Sunderland.
I this is it. This is it, right? Because I'm quite a skeptical person, and I was going to games going, I don't know, because for a while I've backed Sunderland at home, like in the last one standing on William Hill and stuff. When Sunderland play at home, I normally put them on
Yeah,
because I generally like the way they play
yeah.
at home. Um, I think Sunderland are going to be one of those teams where it's going to be the case of no one's expecting us to win. Yeah, we're at home, but no one's going to expect us to win. So let's just go out there and play freely. This is going to be the time where Arsenal either start to feel the pinch and go, people are expecting us to win week in, week out, 1-0, 2-0, set piece goals. What happens is you go to the likes of a stadium of light and you don't get that? How do you bounce back?
Well,
If you bounce
I
back.
said this to you
This
yesterday. Is at some point, and I'm not. It's the only stat really you can look at Arsenal and go, they probably need to improve that. Is I think you're 18th in open play or 17th. You're actually
yeah.
behind West Ham. That's mad because we're shit. And that at some point, no, but
Yeah.
at some point those set pieces
Yeah.
dry up, and all I'm saying is Gyökeres at some point needs to be able to provide those moments because that's what he was brought in for. I know a lot of people are going to say he's brought in for the 30 goal a season, and he is, but he's also brought in for the moments where he's struggling to beat this low block.
Yeah.
He's brought in then to finish that off.
Yeah.
That's what he was there for.
I think you saw it in the first half of Burnley, and people said Burnley relegation team. They've just come back from the championship, and yes, that is correct. But at the same time, he was doing what he needed to. He got
Yeah,
his goal, and he looked a threat at all times. Every time he
yeah.
was in front of goal, or even when he was holding up the play. Um, I it's a poor time to be injured for Gyökeres because he looked like he was getting his groove. He looked like he was getting his confidence in his Arsenal side. And now he seems to have picked up an injury. As I say, it's either muscle injury from either he had it through training, he played and he got worse, or he manifested it through the game. But we've got a good enough side to go to Sunderland and beat them. But it'll be exciting to see Granit Xhaka play against his old club.
He runs me as someone
Because
that would
he's
try to
been
prove wrong. That sort of player, not as a respectful player. That's what he'd come, and also as always touted probably at the moment as a sign of the season right now, that early on. And
well. I was going
I
to
didn't
say
think that would
that
happen.
there's two things I was going to say. One, he's definitely one of the signings of the summer. I don't think he is the signing. I think he's definitely up there though. And it pains me to say, I think that Nick Voltemade is the signing of the summer for Newcastle. That really hurts me to say that. And two, my prediction, I think Xhaka's going to get sent off. I just see him going absolutely through somebody just
Yeah,
without
that
the
isn't good for
emotion
you
of
though, mate,
wanting
because you'll
to.
probably injure someone.
Well, no, it's not. But it is if I put a bank on it. But I don't think I will. I'm not got the will for that. But no, I think it'll be very interesting because he has been phenomenal from
Yeah,
the start of the
he looked
season
good
up
against
until
Everton
now.
last night.
And when the second half, absolutely.
Yeah,
He had he had the shot. It come off the boy's foot and bounced into top of the net. But Xhaka isn't really renowned for those types of things. He's there to command the midfield,
yeah,
get the boys up the pitch, and cause a bit of a cluster headache for the opposing
raucous.
team. He likes to rile them up. Yeah, well, you saw it
Yes,
at Liverpool, didn't you?
yeah.
Well, I don't know if he was actually there, but no, it was. There was one game where he riled the Anfield up, and then we managed to get absolutely slapped by them. But anyway, that's beside the point. I think it'll be an interesting game. I wish I was going. That was my first game at the Stadium of Light Arsenal. 1-0 Santi Cazorla.
Sunderland
That's how
away in
long
the
ago it
international
was.
break. Going to the international break, being on top of the league for 6 weeks. That's not a bad little start, is it?
No, but it also would be the first time that we are. Like, you know what
Well,
I mean? Because if you look at it, City are only 6 points behind us. They've caught us by well more than that. Liverpool are 7. I wish it was more, because even though they're going through a rough time at the moment, they're going to click back into gear, and it's going to. they're just going to absolutely terrify teams again.
Stop beating your
But
chest,
until
mate.
that time,
Exactly.
until that time, I'm going to sit here, top of the tree, and look down at everybody and laugh at yous until I fall
We
off
are for
and
another
fall
3
on
weeks,
theirs.
mate. So, yeah. Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah, well, we need to
There
be.
will be, uh,
We need to be.
yeah. Thank you very much for watching. There'll be a preview for the Sunderland game, and also as well, just as a little drop for West Ham because we beat Newcastle at the weekend. There will be a preview for the Burnley game as well. Thank you very much for watching. And they're top of the league in the Champions League and the Premier League.